Hi, and welcome to the first ever installment of Frank and Mary in Northborough. Many of you have seen the show that I've done earlier, which was called Bergeron Briefs. My name is Art Bergeron. I'm an attorney at Myrick O'Connell. I do nothing but elder law, and many of you have met my friends Frank and Mary and their kids Peter, Paul, and Mary Jr., and you've always heard me tell the story about how their goal is very simple. They want to live in their house till they die. They want to be buried in the backyard. And so the question is, if that house is in Northborough, who do they need to know and what programs do they need to know about in order to really be happy seniors here in Northborough? So we decided to really have this show, turn it into a monthly show, and focus on those issues, on those people. I've got two co-hosts for this show, Tammy Pozaricki, a Northborough resident whose day job is she runs Pleasant Trees, which is an adult day program in Marlborough, and Kelly Burke, the senior center director, who could not make it here today, but the two of them and I are going to be kind of co-hosting and figuring it out and inviting guests. And our guest today is a woman that some of you may know, but I bet a lot don't. Her name is Anita Hagspiel, Hagspiel, and we're going to put that right into the credits here someplace so we know how to spell it. Who is are you the president or the chairman of the board?
I'm the president.
The president of the Friends of the Northborough Senior Center.
Yes.
And Kelly Burke said, this is the first person you should have on because that organization drives so much of what gets to happen around seniors in Northborough. So I wanted to talk to you about this. I know you came prepared with an ad, which we're going to get into a little later on. But first of all, can you just tell us about you? So you were born and raised here? Did you just kind of show up here? We're sitting here at Algonquin School. Did the kids go? Tell us about you and how you ended up at the Friends of the Northborough Senior Center.
So I grew up in Weston, Massachusetts, and graduated from that high school.
Yeah.
And through the years and the various careers,
Yeah.
I was in Southborough.
Yeah.
I started in Westborough, was in Southborough, and then ended up finally in Northborough, which was very
So you've worked your way up over time from Weston to Northborough,
that's
right?
Correct.
You finally
Northborough
made it.
was very
You've
much
made it.
like
Yeah.
Weston was when I was growing up in
Yes,
the 50s
yes.
and 60s. It was great.
Oh, that's really interesting.
And we've been in Northborough for 33 years. And I have one daughter that went to Algonquin, and she graduated in 1993.
And she's not living around here now.
No, she's out on the West Coast in California.
She's migrated out.
Yes,
and we were talking about the fact that prior to your real full-time job that you now have, you actually had another day job working at National Grid.
That's
right?
correct.
Working close by. And talk to us just about a little bit about that, what you were doing there.
For 10 years out of the 22, I was very fortunate to be 1 mile from the Northborough office. In fact, in one 2-foot snowstorm, I cross-country skied to work and was the only one there for several hours.
That's great.
So that was kind of fun.
That's great.
But we love the location where we are. And I worked in energy efficiency.
Yeah.
And one of the sidelines that I had, my kind of extracurricular activity, was I did the United Way. I was a fundraising employee that would help bring in dollars for the various things that National Grid supported. And the United Way was a big effort. The Veterans Day, we had a lot of cancer drives for various types of cancer.
Yeah.
And so I always led that for the Northborough office. And it was just something that I guess the Friends, the people that were on the board at that time,
that's
had
what they
heard
were
about.
looking for, right?
And they said, hello, Anita, would you be interested when I retired in 2011? And of course I said, of course.
So they actually scouted you.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
I got
imagine
scouted
that.
out.
Right.
I got scouted
All that
out.
fundraising.
Right.
And I had known some of the people that were on the board.
Yeah.
So I think that's how it kind of trickled over.
How you say. And by the way, Tammy, you've been here now for quite a while too.
Yes, since 1992, and my kids went to Algonquin as well.
Yeah, that's a long time. And we're
So-
sitting here at Algonquin, right? And Anita was literally saying, I've been there 1,000 times. How did I not know how to get to the cable station, right? So you started at the Friends of the Northborough Senior Center, and we were just talking a little bit, before we started, about some aspects of the Friends group that you really feel make the Friends group unique,
Sure.
And from your describing it, I know a lot of Friends groups and a lot of communities, and it certainly sounds unique. Can you just kind of talk about that a little bit? Talk
Certainly.
about the Friends?
I think what's important for people to know is that we have a very unique situation here in Northborough with our director of the senior center, Kelly Burke. And so we have, if you think of 3 rings, it's the senior center and the employees, It's the Council on Aging, and it's the Friends. The Senior Center, of course, is all the things that they do at the Senior
Is the
Center
Senior
with
Center.
programs and services. You know, we have an outreach person, Jocelyn. Then we have the Council on Aging folks that are really appointed by the select people here in town, and they provide knowledge and wisdom for programs and also services. The Friends are the fundraisers, and we are the nonprofit. And so we do things to help the Senior Center, provide money to help all of the, I mean, we've provided assistance for people that can't afford an ambulance ride, or we provided a piano bench or the new shades or different things like that. And I really feel strongly and really to my heart that these are the things that really help our seniors here in the town of Northborough.
And so the selectmen don't appoint the members of the board of the Friends of the Northborough
No.
Senior
The
Center.
seniors elect the Friends.
That's correct.
Correct?
Actually, you can become a friend of the Northborough Senior Center.
Yeah.
If you're a town person, it's $5
Yeah.
a year, and that $5 really is a donation. Kelly likes to think of it as like the PTA or the PTO.
Right.
So it's really, you can go to the Senior Center and you don't have to be a friend. But if you are a friend, you're doing a donation, and we open our arms to people to help us volunteer at the Senior
see.
Center. An example is two of our
Yeah, I was just
friends
gonna-
do the birthday lunches. They assist the Friends, the board,
the birthday
the
lunch.
birthday lunch every month. The people can come in.
Yeah.
They've signed up for the birthday lunch, and they get a free sandwich
Yeah.
and a drink. And
Yeah.
we provide a birthday cake and sing happy birthday. And
That's
it
great.
happens every single month. And a lot of people, we get a lot of people in the bistro for that. It's wonderful.
That's
and
fantastic.
it really it helps a lot of the seniors that maybe don't go out a lot.
Yeah.
And they come in however they get there, and we provide that transportation at the Senior Center, and they come in and they have a great lunch.
And so, how many? To give me a sense of that, of the people in the Friends. How many of those people are also volunteers at the Senior Center?
Well, so we have probably about close to 400 Friends members.
Friends.
And out of that 400, we also open it up to other towns. So there's probably about 145 of that 400 that come into the Senior Center from other towns. And they
Who
pay,
not only come to the Senior Center, but they also have become Friends members here.
That's right, and they're
see.
$10
Yeah.
a year.
Yeah.
And so they can come anyway to use the Senior Center, but this is their donation.
Right.
And so it really works out well, and then they get, of course, all of the opportunities with the programs. So
Right.
it works out super. And so out of the people in your question of asking how many volunteer,
If you were guessing,
wow, I would
just that I
say
see so
20
many-
to 25.
Yes.
We have some people that are friends that, and I assist with this because I'm a gardener. We have some friends that plant the tubs in the summer, in the spring, and the beautiful tubs out on our patio. And there's now an urn like they have at the Marlborough
Right.
Senior Center. And it's beautiful because it's a welcoming thing for people to see. We have a brick area there, so people have donated bricks for that. And those, in my mind, are people that are volunteering to help out and do things. And they can put somebody's name in remembrance or just in honor of.
Yeah.
And it really comes very special to the heart for that. It really does.
That's pretty terrific.
It really is. So I would say 25 to 30 people,
Yeah.
other than the board,
Yeah.
are doing various things. And it really helps out. And Henry, our vice president, Henry Scolanti, is there every single day.
Henry Scolante.
Henry Scolanti, and there's a Dolmens group there that now have probably about 45 people. And
A what group?
A Dolmens group. It's a national organization, and a lot of the senior centers sponsor this. It's a group of people that come in, men, and they talk about various things. And the fire chief has been there, the police chief. So these guys are coming in now, and they'll make donations to the Friends, and they had a barbecue, I guess, this week. So it's a fun thing to get people together and have some sort of a function.
I see. And is that totally a men's group?
Yes.
Like within the Senior Center?
Yes.
Well, that's really interesting.
It's fun.
That's-
It's a lot of fun, and a lot of the guys that have retired, they like talking about the various subjects, although no politics or religion in that.
No politics? How
No.
do you do that?
But they
Oh
really
my
have a lot of
God.
interest in the town things. So
Right.
it works out great.
Right, so it's kind of like this little magic place. Now, when was the Senior Center? I shouldn't say when was
Yeah,
the
the
Senior
new
Center?
one, right?
Because you've got a new one. So were you Was the senior center the new one already built when you started your involvement?
No, it had been there, so I think it was 2010,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. So it's going into the 7th or 8th year.
Yeah.
And I actually, at National Grid, did energy efficiency and assisted the account manager from National Grid to help provide the energy efficiency work for the senior
And
center.
by the way, tell us about about the energy efficiency at the
Well, there is a
senior center,
geothermal heat pump there.
which I was
You
amazed
know, they
by.
have a lot of energy efficient lighting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of passive solar there. If you ever go there in the winter, it heats up that room. It's wonderful. So we did a lot of things to help with HVAC, motors, all of
Yeah.
that type of thing in the development.
And so can you talk a little bit about, kind of fast forwarding to now, the programs at the senior, and you talked about the fact that you can actually do a lot of small things, just literally helping
Sure.
somebody get to the senior center and doing some small things. But some of the larger things that you have done over the last several years.
Certainly.
And then looking forward, what are you thinking? What are you thinking?
Yeah, what
will-
are the goals of the
Yeah,
Friends
and-
for this coming year, maybe?
Yeah, and into the future, because you say, once again, you and Kelly are literally joined at the hip. You're
Yes.
there like a
Yes,
lot,
and
right?
the folks on the Council on Aging, I
Right.
think we really blend well, and we work together to support in a very congenial way. I think it's fabulous, it really is. So one of the things the Friends did that was really successful, when they first opened the senior center, Kelly was working in the bistro area. Jocelyn was. In fact, they still will lend a hand at
Right.
some time.
Right.
But they eventually were going to hire someone who is Vicki Colleen, a fabulous chef and wonderful person. And what happened was the Friends ended up giving the dollars for her to pay her for her part-time work there.
Like literally 100% of the dollars,
Yes,
right?
that's right.
So that bistro
Until
would
we had
not
agre-
have opened, right?
Well, it opened, but it wouldn't have been serving
At a
as
scale,
much
right.
in the scale, right? And so that worked out really well. And so what's happened now over the years, it's been unbelievable because it keeps growing and growing. We're serving more lunches, more bistro night on Tuesday night. And
Have you ever actually eaten there?
I still haven't.
So you need to, because
Yes.
the food is fabulous.
It is.
And I've gone
Yes.
there for lunch. I've taken my guests there for lunch.
But I'm not
And
a
it's
friend.
reasonable.
Can I
You
go?
can still
You can
go.
still
Can I
go.
go?
You
Yes?
can still go.
in fact,
And the cost
various
is
people, even from National
so
Grid, will take a
inexpensive.
walk on their lunch hour and they'll stop in.
Because they're right
It's all-
down the street.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
That's
right.
great.
It's
That's
really good.
fabulous that they're coming down the street for that.
That's right, and it's pleasant. It's really pleasant there, and they have a lot of volunteers from various, even National Grid folks, various organizations, churches that will come in and help with that. And we also have students that volunteer,
Oh,
because the students at Algonquin can get credit for their
Oh.
whole yes.
Because they've got that culinary program in Algonquin.
Yes.
So I
So
bet
it's
that's
really good. I mean, we're bringing in a lot of different, the high school students, the various companies to work and help and really aid the seniors. So it really is a nice way of doing it.
So you started off by paying Vicky's salary basically when
That's
she was
right.
part-time, and then did she
Then it started-
expand to full-time?
Nope, she's never been
She's
full-time.
never been full-time.
Although she works a lot of
Or
hours.
it's just, she seems full-time.
She's there a long time. She's very dedicated. And talk about volunteering. She's
Yeah.
unbelievable about that.
Yeah.
She helps the Friends when we have our, events, our fundraising events. She helps
Yeah.
us a lot.
And I think you mentioned that the program has become so successful that actually there's enough money now that it actually does pay her. It pays herself.
Yes, that's correct.
And so now what you guys are, what the Friends are now doing is that aren't you paying for,
There's a need, and in fact, it's in the works right now. There's
Yeah.
a need to hire another person part-time
Yeah.
to assist Vicki, because it's really gotten huge, and we want it to keep growing like that. So
Right.
this person will, for the first year, and we're already way into the year,
Yeah.
we had assigned a budget for that, and so that person will be paid for by us when she gets hired. I think it's in the works, and it's going to be happening soon. And then we'll cover that until that can be paid
that's
for on its own.
fabulous.
until it can be self-sufficient? Yeah,
What a
that's
support network.
Yes.
That's very important.
Yeah, it really is
right?
a good support.
Right, and it seems like when I was mentioning you are unique among these Friends groups. I've seen very few Friends groups that have not been an afterthought. that basically you've got the Council on Aging, and they will say, oh, well, we really need a 501c3 so that we can get some contributions, and so they'll create one, and there'll be a board, but often it's the same folks as the folks on the Council on Aging, and it's just an afterthought. And so a few dollars come in, a few $1,000s, but nothing like what you're talking about in terms of the scale of what you're able to support, right?
Well, we
So
have...
that you're able to, I'm sorry, but I guess so that you're able to experiment, in other words. You're able to kind of decide in conjunction with the Council on Aging and the Senior Center Director that there's something new you want to try.
That's right.
And you're able to try it, to kind
Yes.
of ramp it up.
We vote on it, the Friends vote on it, because it's strictly us, we're the nonprofit fundraising. So we'll vote on it, but we definitely listen to the Council on Aging folks, or Kelly and her folks, to make sure that it's all going to work out well, because we have had functions there. I would, if you don't mind, like to just say a couple of the functions
That's just what I was going to.
Okay.
Right. So obviously this machine needs to be oiled, and so you've got to be doing something to be finding the money.
Well,
right?
I think one of the things that even when I was in high school, we would do a lot of different fundraising type of things, and I was
It's
tasked.
great though. She's such a wallflower too. It's surprising that she's really.
She's so introverted.
She's so introverted that she's really interested in all these things. So go ahead.
I was tasked when I came on board with the existing president, and then the next
because
one.
she likes it, by the way.
I do love it.
Yeah.
Of changing it up a little bit, having some different types of functions, and that's what I used to do, even at National Grid, have different types of activities so that people wouldn't have the same thing every year, even though they did fabulous things, like the Chocolate Spectacular was always so successful, and it really was wonderful, and they would hold that at Whitney Place.
The Chocolate
Assisted
Spectacular.
Yes, and everything would be chocolate, and they'd have a silent auction or raffles, and it was really well received.
Yep.
But the problem was it was happening in the winter, and sometimes, a few times, it got canceled or rescheduled. And so we decided that it would be good to have some things maybe in the spring or the fall.
Yeah.
We have every year our Country Store Fair, which brings in a lot of money for the Friends and the Senior Center. And that's always pretty much the same type of things, but everybody loves it and everybody can't wait for it. And it's the Saturday before Thanksgiving.
And it's the
So
Country
that's a
Store
staple.
Fair. And what gets sold at the Country Store Fair?
Well, we have a Grandmom's Attic.
Yeah.
We have a raffle table that we raffle off some wonderful prizes that we recruit from the town and surrounding area.
Yeah.
And then we have a bake sale that ended up bringing in the most money last year.
Wow.
It was fabulous. And then we have the Council on Aging folks have a knitting. In fact, Adrian Cost is ahead of this knitting group that does various crafts.
Adrian Cause?
Yeah, Adrian Cost is our Council on Aging chair, and she has been for several years.
Yep.
And she actually was a Friends president way back and was very influential at the whole building of the Senior Center, the new one.
I see.
And she's great. She, it practically comes to every single one of our Friends meetings. And so getting back to this, I think that
So you have you have the event before Thanksgiving. Right?
for that.
For that.
And every year we've done a few different things. Some really successful other events were, I had 2 fashion shows that I cheered, and with the fashion shows, they were a high tea, and we actually got 125 plus teacups and saucers, and we had the 3-tiered thing. And some people were kind of skeptical, having it in the bistro at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. We ended up having a waiting list of like 25 people.
Wow,
so we
that's
did really well with that.
fantastic.
And we did that 2 years.
Yeah.
We had, last year we had a garden tour and teamed up with the garden club here in town. And even though it rained in the morning, everybody thought it went well. And our gardens that we targeted were people that cared for their own gardens, everyday type of living, and it really was very nice.
And what time of year did you do that?
That
When
was
did you do
last June.
Last June.
So we've had the fashion show, and the big one too was in Florida, in Naples. I saw a woman, Mary Lou Quinlan, who is an author and actress, and wrote The God Box. And it's a fabulous story about her relationship with her mother who had passed. And I brought that, I get goosebumps thinking about it. I brought it to the board and said, we really should do this. We investigated. Mary Lou Quinlan donated her acting for that event. We had it at Southgate in Shrewsbury,
Yeah.
and it was fabulous, a sellout. And one of the things when we do a function there, they have their people that live there, the residents come, and they really enjoyed
Sure,
it. And she was just fabulous. Each person, for the price of the ticket, got a book signed by Mary Lou that day.
Wow.
And we had a nice reception there. It really was a good event. And last year we did something called the radio show. So we're trying to do all of these things this year.
And
Can
this
I talk
year-
about it?
Yes.
Which is why you're on in July, by the way, because
That's
this is
right.
coming right up.
This is going to be a tropical paradise evening on August 9th. And I just learned at my meeting this week, we can sell up to 65 tickets because of the space. It's going to be at Whitney Place Assisted Living. And Jim Priest is on our board. He's the director of activities. They are fabulous to work with, and it's a beautiful, beautiful facility. So we're going to have tropical drinks, appetizers, plentiful appetizers.
Yeah.
We're actually going to have hula dancers, the best costume for Hawaiian shirts and so forth.
Right.
And the price is $25 a person, and
Which
you're
is
really
very
getting
reasonable.
a lot.
Yeah.
You're really getting a lot with that. We also are going to have a ukulele player strumming through the whole thing, a signature drink, pina coladas, and sangria and wine and soft drinks, of course. So it's really a great event, and tickets are on sale now at the Senior Center. And we are
And the sangria, and everything that you just said is all included in
that's
that
all
$25?
included, yes. So it's really going to be a great event, and I really encourage folks to come. It's right downtown near St. Rosalima Church, and I think it's going to be a super event.
And that's where it's going to be, at St. Rosalima.
No,
No,
you can park at St.
You can
Rosalima,
park at
but it's at the
Rosalima.
Whitney
That's right, because
Place
Whitney Place is right next door.
Assisted
Right,
living,
right,
right.
right, right.
So that I encourage folks to talk about. And if you have any questions, call the Senior Center. They'll always get in
You can
touch
just
with
call,
me.
there isn't an email address that they can, no.
No,
They
just
should
the
call
Senior
the Senior
Center when
Center.
you're at the Senior Center. That's great. The other thing that we'll do this year, we always have a booth at Apple Fest, and we always have a fun thing to do to encourage people to learn more about the Council on Aging, the Senior Center, and us. And so that's something that we've been getting a lot of activity at, and we're right at the street fair. That'll be on Saturday.
What's an example of something you do at the booth?
So I started bringing in first a spinning wheel, and the people would come in and spin the wheel, and there'd be a question. If they answered the question right about the Senior Center, which the
that's
Council on
brilliant.
Aging ended up developing this questionnaire, then we would give them a prize. And sometimes the prize were like an ice cream cone that you could get in the bistro, so a gift certificate for that, encouraging folks to come into the Senior Center.
Were you like a marketing major in
Right.
college?
I did do marketing
Yeah,
with our energy efficiency work that we did.
Right.
But the other
just
thing,
curious.
last year we got a cornhole, and we had 3 holes in the cornhole that my brother made,
Yeah.
painted it up, and had the Senior Center, the Council on Aging, and the Friends, and so they tried to get it in, and if they did again, they'd have questions. Any answers with a prize. So it brings people in, all ages, and it really encourages people to learn about us.
Right, right. And to realize that all these people are really interconnected. And
That's
so you really
correct.
become the center of all kinds of different activity.
That's right.
So what, when you think about it, you've been there for a long time now, right? And so you obviously think about, so, kind of what else could it be, right? Because it is a lot.
Yes.
And it's come to be a lot. What else could it be? When you imagine the Senior Center as it continues to evolve, as you were mentioning, kind of the next year, the next 3 to 5 years.
Right. What are you looking as a
how do you-
vision
what
for
do you
the
think?
Senior
What do you
Center?
think about? Is
Well, and I can only give you the perspective of the Friends.
of course, that's right. Well, we're going to have your counterparts on.
Oh,
later,
yes,
right?
and you'll be hearing-
Kelly, and now we want to invite Ms. Cost.
I think Adrian would be a great person to
Yep.
talk with. She's very knowledgeable and a lot of history,
Yep.
and she would be able to really give you a lot of the insight for that. I know we're going to continue. We're going to provide like 2 fundraisers a year.
Yeah.
I did write a letter for what's happening now with bringing in folks with that program, Daybreak.
Yes.
And so that was something that I have 2 sister-in-laws that have the beginning on stages of Alzheimer's.
And so can you just talk about that a little bit? Can you talk about the Daybreak program a little bit? I know that
I
we'll,
had
and we'll,
to write a letter
and we're gonna have some
showing
folks
that
on.
the Friends would support whether we would hold a special fundraising event for it, or with the fact that we do budget ourselves and we earn a lot of money with that,
Yeah.
that we could probably help financially in some way. That would have to be voted on. But we all feel very strongly about this, that it is a fabulous, fabulous thing to be doing.
Yeah, and I just as, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's wonderful to have seen it grown.
Yes,
Because we started
'cause it
in
started
Hudson.
in Hudson.
I helped Janice. We developed it. We had support networks. We
wonderful.
had partners in the community, and you know, it was such a new concept for this area.
And
that
Tammy,
it
can you
took a
just
long
talk about it a
time.
little bit? Because the interesting thing about Daybreak, it's kind of like stuff that you do
Right, at
at Pleasant Trees, and also like the Memory Cafe stuff that you
Right.
did. This talk about what Daybreak is doing.
Basically, we just have a good time with the folks that have cognitive impairment, memory impairment.
So it's folks that are coming to the senior center because they've got some memory issues.
It could be that,
Yeah.
or it could be caregivers who just need a little break.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know, my program, Pleasantries, is a full day and all week, and that comes into play for a lot of people. But for the people that who may have financial constraints or just want that minimal amount of time to go get their hair done or to go get what they need done, 3 hours, a suggested donation, lunch, games, crafts, socialization,
Yes,
which
that's
is
important.
huge.
Very
That's the
important.
need in the community.
Right. So a program that gives folks the opportunity to come to the senior center and be with other folks who may have some memory issues, and so that nobody is there feeling like they're sticking out, you know, like they're kind of embarrassed.
Right.
It started in Hudson, very slowly. I remember, you know, talking
was
to you and talking to
slow.
the Council on Aging director there. The first year, they get one person, 3 people, and now that's become like 20.
That's correct.
And
And
it's
then-
amazing to see, because we had all band together to create the dementia-friendly community, and the 3 senior center directors were fabulous in saying, we should do this, you know, the 3 of us.
Right.
So you have folks that attend all 3, and that's 3 days out of the
That's
5-day
great.
week.
Yeah, and when
So-
you talk about folks becoming bonded at the hip, I think that's one of the interesting dimensions about these 3 communities, Marlborough, Hudson, Northborough now, is that you've got 3 senior center directors who were really devoted to this particular mission of focusing on figuring out what a dementia-friendly community would look like, but in the course of doing that also became really close friends. So they're really
That's
looking
great.
to
Yeah, it's
do
really
programs that kind of like where they can help each other. So the notion now of someone from Northborough being able to go to the Northborough Senior Center once a week, but also at same time but different place, go to the Hudson Senior Center once a week, go to the Marlborough Senior Center once a week. So you have variety. You see a number of different people. It's a wonderful thing, and
It
could very well, I would imagine, foreshadow other programs like that will evolve around here. So it's very exciting. That's
And
very
you know,
exciting.
the Northborough Senior Center, I think when people walk in, they feel like it's their living room, you know, and I think there's a comfort level there. So I think that part has really welcomed them too as part of this, because Marlborough is absolutely beautiful, and
Yeah.
Hudson is so warm and welcoming. It really is.
So,
it's
'cause
a
that's
good
the point.
threesome with
Yes.
us.
Yeah,
It really
absolutely.
is.
To have a place, to have 3 places where you can go and feel you're not at home, but you're feeling at home.
That's right.
You know, it's just like a wonderful thing. So listen, thank you very, very
Oh,
much for
this is
coming.
my pleasure.
This is really
My
exciting. Want to show up your ad one more time?
Oh, yes.
Ad one more
definitely.
time, right?
And you'll hear about others when you get to the senior center too.
Right, so you want to go. You
And I
want to
know-
go. It's a good deal. It sounds like the margaritas
It's a lot
are
of
right.
fun.
It just sounds
and
like
you'll see
all
people with
good.
grass skirts on.
Which could be which might even be her, but we don't know that.
We
But we
don't-
don't know
yeah,
And
that.
we also want to plug and encourage folks who have not joined as a friend
That's
of
right,
the
to
senior
join.
center. Join. It's
Just to
minimal.
join. It's-
And do
right.
they get the
Well,
newsletter
This
also?
was one that I picked up to just show you. The Northborough Times goes to 1,000 plus people, and we pay for the mailing of that. And so I think it really is good, because I actually have a part in it that I write a Friend's Corner.
Which is why
And
everybody gets one, because
Yeah,
you're paying for the
that's
mailing.
right.
the mailing, right.
That's really
And there
exciting.
are ads and all of that type of thing
That's
in it,
really
but it's
exciting.
really nice and it's very
I
informative.
think Frank and Mary even have an ad in it.
I think they do.
Yes.
They do. So it's
Yes.
a good thing to, if you aren't getting it, let us know.
Right.
and they'll find you.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for watching. Thanks very much, Anita.
Thank you.
Thank
It's my
you,
pleasure.
And
Anita.
my wonderful co-host, Tammy Pozaricki, and we'll see you next month on the next installment of Frank and Mary in Northborough. Thank you.